Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Monday. All right, guys. Well, I'm so excited that we're getting into the summer. Jason and I have a lot to go through, a lot to talk about, and a lot to share. So this is going to be an exciting summer. I can't wait to share it with all of you guys because you're always constantly working on things. You don't know what's going to land. It always feels like trial and error. I think that has been a lot of our time on YouTube, period, which is trying to see like what lands with the Addams family and what does not. But with that, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world too. And I just think that it's something that we should talk about, especially with the Diddy trial. We have Don Richards, who ended up coming forward. Don Richard, who ended up coming forward. And then we also have Aubrey O'Day, who is now doing a podcast covering this entire trial. So yeah, you better believe we're going to talk about it. Now, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and let's jump right in. All right, guys. So I don't know if you remember Dawn Richard, but she did end up testifying in court. You know what's funny is the night that I met Jason, it was actually during my first gay pride in LA, and I ran on stage during a Danity Kane concert. I grabbed the mic and I was trying to MC the show before the ladies actually came out. It was their last concert. So yeah, this holds a special place to me. Now, I also didn't know that like maybe I could be in trouble for that. I think that I was just being silly. I was 20 years old and yeah, it was a dare. So there I go. But Dawn Richard, she did end up taking the stand and she testified against Diddy and she shared a lot of stuff. Like, for example, she was elaborating on the abusive behavior towards Cassie. And she said there was one point where her and the Danity Kane girls, like they came into the house, they would record in a studio in the house. And when they did, Diddy ended up getting into a fight with Cassie, an argument, and tried hitting her with a frying pan. And he didn't get her the first time. So then he kept going in and trying to just like make sure like he beat her. And she said, yes, that was alarming, but I think that they were all afraid of Diddy because they knew that their music career was in Diddy's hands. And if they went against him, music career over. But that wasn't the only incident. There was another incident where they were coming back and they were in a car and she said something that he didn't like. So he told her to shut the fuck up and he turned around and like slapped her in the mouth, like hit her in the mouth. And he would constantly abuse her, is what they're alleging. Abuse her, physically attack her in front of the bandmates and also anybody else who was around, which I thought was wild. But she ended up leaving Danity Kane and she went to another band. It was called Diddy Dirty something or something like that. But she went to another band and there was a moment where they were in Glasgow, Scotland, where his assistant, she walked out and she witnessed his assistant being gangbanged by him and his friends. And I was like, truly like thinking about it, like what is happening? Because if you watch the Diddy documentary, there was also the assistant who was questioned whether or not Diddy could trust him. And Diddy said, well, if you want me to trust you and you want to keep your job, great. If you don't, you can leave. But if you want to keep your job, then I want you to have intercourse with this woman over here. So the assistant came on and started crying in the documentary, but was like, yes, I did it. I did it. I ended up having intercourse because I didn't know what else was going to happen. So I was like, I need to keep my job. And he put me in a position. But from that point, Dawn also claimed that Diddy threatened her and Cassie, suggesting that they would go missing if they spoke out. And she also alleged that he carried a bag containing a lot of drugs supplied by a dealer known as One Stop. But as this continues on, he is facing a lot of charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, He's pled guilty to all of these, or pled not guilty to all of these charges. The trial is still ongoing. The testimonies are still going out, so we don't know what the result of this is going to be, but I think that it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. But really, when you put all of it together, then you see a video of her walking out of court. And I don't know if I have the video. If I have the video, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to play it for you guys. And trigger warning, I am so sorry, but I'm going to play it for you guys because I want you guys to see what was actually in the video, where she's just getting berated by all of the people who are outside of the courtroom. And the fact that she had to listen to what people were saying and what they're asking her, I was like, this is actually terrible. But thank you to Nicole.everything. Here we go.
Yeah, how big is Diddy's dick?
Whoa.
Wow. I get the 10
Come on
million.
now, man.
Can somebody beat me up for 10
Monetization.
million?
You're going too far. Yeah,
I want
man.
to get my ass beat for 10 million. I want to get my ass beat for 10 million. Isn't it freedom of speech? You have freedom of speech?
Have a good day, John.
Like,
Have a good day.
yeah, how big is Diddy's dick?
All right. The complete sadness that you have watching just humanity, people themselves. You know, I saw where it was somebody who we know who's also on YouTube. They made a point to just share the fact that there are people outside of the courthouse wearing free Diddy shirts and they're getting paid $20 an hour. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, but that's what they're saying. And if in fact that is true, would I be shocked? No. However, at the end of the day, like, I was talking to somebody in the gym today. Her name's Lola. Love her. And she said, "Isn't this disgusting? It's disturbing, the things that are coming out." And I'm like, yeah, it really is disgusting and disturbing. And, you know, Cassie, watching how this is turning against her, where people are saying, "Oh, well, you did text and say that you're ready for more freak offs. And you did text and you said, you know, like, you're obsessed with this man. And you did text and say this." I'm like, guys, I think that she didn't really have a way out. And I think that she had to engage in a lot of these texts and keep him happy, because I think that if she didn't keep him happy, she was going to get her ass beat because she was easily findable by him. And I think that that's probably why she went into hiding for a long time. She didn't want to be located by Diddy. That's not shocking when somebody is beating your ass. Like, we've seen it on video where he dragged her through a hotel, dragged her, kicked her, beat her. And then he comes on and he does a video apology and he's like, you know, I'm a changed man. Okay. Yeah. A changed man. But moving on. So Aubrey O'Day, this part was interesting to me because I don't know if you guys saw this, but she has been dragged for, I guess, hosting this podcast. It's an episode of Amy Robach and TJ Holmes' podcast where she dropped her opinion on her former mentor. And she talks about this, but my question is, what happened to where she originally was supposed to be taking the stand? So what happened to taking the stand? Because if you see her in some of her interviews, she's like, you know, I'm not going to pretend like this man didn't do a lot for me. However, at the end of the day, if you look at anybody and you think about having a daughter, or you think about, which is something that she mentioned, or you think about having a child, or you think that could happen to your sister or your child or your mother, why would you not take the stand? And if you're not going to take the stand, then why are you going to jump on a podcast, a podcast episode for Amy Robach and TJ Holmes? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, I guess. But this is what was said. She did confirm that she will not testify in Diddy's trial, despite being contacted by the Department of Homeland Security. And she said that she was also not subpoenaed on either side. Okay. But why? Like, if Dawn saw all of this, you clearly saw a lot. I look at it from like a perspective of, no, I wouldn't think that it would be easy, but I also don't think that it would be easy for Cassie to sit there in front of her husband and have all of the abuse things come out, the escorts urinating in her mouth, the mouth sores, the taking certain medications that no longer worked, that were antibacterial, the abuse. That's not easy. That's courage. And it took courage for her to be able to take the stand and testify against Diddy. So I don't know why Aubrey O'Day decided, you know what, I wasn't subpoenaed. So no, I'm not going to go up there. Instead, I'm going to do a podcast and I'm going to make some money off of it. Aubrey O'Day, like, what are you doing? However, she did criticize Diddy for having his children present during the trial. She described it as selfish and saying that that's what a true narcissist would do. And she also suggested that it was a strategy in order for him to garner sympathy with the jury. Because if the jury sees his kids, 6 out of 7 of his kids, they're supporting him, then maybe they would feel as if he's not that bad of a guy, which definitely could be a strategy. I think that it would be a sympathy strategy at best, not quite sure. But she also said, you know, like what's weird is there were so many graphic things that were shared about what actually happened in a lot of these court settings, a lot of these testimonies. It was graphic. It was graphic what Cassie said. His twin daughters ended up walking out of the court during what she was saying. And apparently they're only like a year younger than Cassie was when Cassie started enduring these things. So to think about it from that perspective, it's like, yeah, this is truly wild, I guess, is the best way to put it, but also disgusting. I don't know. Honestly, at the end of the day, I wish that Aubrey O'Day would have been more, I don't know if it's influenced or more readily like available or more willing to take the stand and share whatever she saw. I'm not saying go against Diddy, but like if you did in fact see where Diddy was abusive to so many people, yes, he gave you a platform, yes, he gave you a career, but if he was abusive to these people and this is what their argument is and you witness this, then why would you not want to stand up for what's right? That part like throws me off and that part makes me never really want to support Aubrey O'Day again. However, then I kind of balance that in my head and I'm like, it's clearly not easy to take the stand in any situation and to share these aggressive, intimate moments that you saw going on behind the scenes. And I can understand it from that viewpoint as well. So I'm just trying to sort of like, what's right and what's wrong. But at the end of the day, like I said at the very beginning of this, he is still pleading not guilty. He is still claiming that he did nothing wrong. He's still being accused of trafficking and racketeering, and he is still facing technically 15 years to life in prison. It doesn't mean that he's going to get it. There are a lot of people who have gotten off in these situations where they have gone through the trial, they have sat in a jail cell, and then finally, in their minds, and in the court's mind, they have been vindicated because it is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty without a reasonable doubt. And if it is not without a reasonable doubt, then guess who gets to go free? You know? So I want to hear what you guys think, guys. Pop off in the comment section, please. Welcome back to Up and Adam channel 2. And yeah, we'll keep you posted on everything else that's coming out. So I love you guys. We'll just give you updates on the Diddy stuff. And it's Monday, which means we're back at it, meaning that this is day 6 of the trial. So here we go. Love you guys.